Hello and welcome back to Railway Empire 2. Short intro today because we've got a few things to fix, or at least one thing to fix and a few others to improve on. Austin is growing though. That's everything we did in the previous video has culminated in Austin finally growing. The reason I've got it paused though is there's something broken, so we'll get to that in a second. Anyhow, Austin will be growing. They're 62.2% fulfillment of demand. We should start to see grain on the way. So they're growing without the grain, which is lovely. They're getting a few other bits and bobs now. And we're going to improve on that further. Maybe buy out this little section here. Start bringing in some cows and stuff. And increase the throughput of our logs. And perhaps have a direct line to Dallas. Remember, we fixed this for our wood. What it's done is now broken our line to New Orleans. So I don't want that to be a thing. While we are doing that, we may as well widen Jackson, because I have a feeling that we're going to need it, aren't we, sooner rather than later. Shreveport could have a nice connection to Jackson as well. For whatever reason. We're going to widen Jackson Station first. Separate, yeah, we've got a train on here, but I would like to separate this line completely from the rest of our stuff. They're dropping off wool, so I think a separate station would be fine for that. All they've got to do is drop it off, and it keeps them out of the way, doesn't it, of our mainline services. And we could just have these guys running backwards and forwards, I guess. Are they going to get busier than that? Well, if they do, we can change it, can't we? I think for now, that's fine. And then we'll just stick that there, and they can run backwards and forwards. Let's just check this station. Routes in use. All we've got to do with this now is change it from Jackson to a Jackson 2, and that should be fine. There we go. And we'll give them a maintenance yard either end. And they'll be good to go, won't they? Do you know what? We're at the point where we can throw in a dispatch hall, and then we can increase the speed that they load. So yeah, the turnaround for our trains is going to be a little quicker there. And we could do the same here. I mean, we could branch off into this and have it as a freight yard, perhaps. Thinking about it, with a warehouse. And they could pass stuff across. Not sure yet. First stage is just going to fix this and get us widened over here. A 4-track main line might be a thing now. Possibly worthwhile. Yeah, and change over Beaumont as well. I know, we're doing all the things. This is related, but since there are no trains on this section, I sort of like the idea of shifting this over one. Maybe even a tunnel. There we go. Nice little tunnel. Doesn't cost us too much at this stage of the game, does it? In fact, shall we... Ooh, we've got a bit of a problem here, though, haven't we, if we widen this side? Unless we make a ridiculously large gridiron over in Beaumont. I love the sound of that. A bit excessive, maybe. This line can head to Shreveport, then, because I'd like to make a little bit more money from them. It shouldn't be too bad, should it, doing this? Especially if we change this now into a double track situation coming in. And then there's a few platforms they can go on. It's not overly frequent. But that just allows them to choose any of the other platforms. And these guys can choose whatever platform they like, can't they? But what are you making here, Grand? We don't want that. We want we want them to alternate. There we go. What we can do now is send that over and separate our freight a little more. We'll still need this double track here because we can separate the milk up this end. So we're going to follow this along around the hill or around the mountain, and we can stick that across then, can't we, from this point? Remove this junction, maybe have it a little straighter as well. We'll just tidy this up a little bit for our mainline services. And I like that a little better. Yeah, so we just glide in there. And we're spending all the money, but I have a feeling we might be able to take out the odd bond or two. I feel like these are not correct. That one should be that way, shouldn't it? Yeah, there we go. Oh, was that right? This is wrong, isn't it? That should be that way. That should be that way. Is that right now? There we go. This one's wrong. And that one's wrong. I can't remember which way round I do it now. I think it's that way. Yeah, so this is wrong. After all that. Wait. You are going that way and you are going that way. Right, well, I've got it, guys. Okay, I'm happy with that. That means we can maybe extend this as well while we're over here. I'd like to get these done so we can sort of leave it. Set it and leave it. And also get a little bit more money in from a few more mixed services that we can just set up and leave. So we'll run in and we'll make this not all the way to the wood or logging station, but we'll make this a 4-track over at Shreveport. Is this Shreveport? It is, isn't it? Yeah. Shall we set these up correctly now? That's right, isn't it? Yeah, beautiful. And then we'll run a little bit of a shortcut, I guess, up this end and curve in. As long as it's a maximum speed. A few tunnels. Do you know, they're a bit pricey, aren't they? Maybe we can just scoot past there. Might as well save a little bit of cash. In fact, that's done us wonders as far as grades are concerned. And as well as building costs. So I love that. And then we'll slide this one up that end. And there we go. That's beautiful. And then we'll have a 4-track gridiron over at Shreveport on the southern side. And we'll get us a couple of supply towers, as those are important now. We could technically branch off here, couldn't we, before this supply tower and head down into Jackson. Maybe join the main line there. Now we've lightened the load a little bit. Now we've got one supply tower up there. I might stick another one up here, just so they have a couple of options. Do we want one this end on? Maybe. Given the length of this route, it might not be a bad idea. We could have them as they branch in like that, couldn't we? Especially now that we've separated this a lot. Alright, shall we set up a few runs? Let's give them a nice little service between Shreveport and Beaumont. Yes, automatic is fine. We want the Brooks Mogul. Went past it. And we'll go straight to on that. Spend all our money. We need us a gridiron on that side. There we go. We'll send that up to Shreveport. And we'll get us... This is... Oh, not the Brooks Mogul. We'll go with the Shea class. In fact, yeah. And wait until 4 on that. Or 3. No, 4 will do. Make a little bit more money from our logging camp. Give us a maintenance building on there. Didn't have one for the longest of times. Same here at Hobbs Rest. Let's give our milk a maintenance building. That's going to improve throughput over at Beaumont, regardless of whether we widened the station or not. Which, so yes, overall, Beaumont's going to see a bit of a boost. It's nice to see Shreveport growing as well. We might be moving these tracks over, as we don't have a direct line to Dallas yet. We should think about buying him out, shouldn't we? Right, is that everything? We have our new service running that way. How many do we have running between here? 2. Beautiful. And now we can go back and finish this off, but we've got no need to have a junction here now, do we? We can separate this entirely and hopefully fix this issue. Where do we have a supply tower down here? I don't think we do we? No. Where are we going to put this? In fact, we can tidy that up, can't we? There we go. we have no supply towers. I'm just going to delete these back here. And we'll go from there. We've got a train crossing over. Have we? No, that's part of the error. We'll get rid of that. Send you that way. You're going in there now. Maximum speed, which is possibly a little better than it was before. Give us a little run off here so that we can have a nice 4-track gridiron on either side. And then we can set that up. We're also set up so that we can have a separate freight line running down here as well if we need it a little later on. Which we more than likely will. There we go, we're at maximum speed now. All the way. I think we were pretty much maximum speed anyway, but definitely are now. Re-signaled there. Couple of supply towers back in. One there and one there. We've got one down that end. That is beautiful. Right, that should have fixed that. Do we have 2 trains running on this line? Let's hit play. I had to pause that because it was all broken. This should be running now, shouldn't it? Just fine. Are you loading up? Well, we broke you completely. You should be fine just to run that, shouldn't you? Let's hit play again. Are you going to run that? I'm a little concerned. Ah, there he goes. There he goes. So he's going to load up with, once he's surfaced, all of his wool. Right, supply tower's done. We've got our wood train is on the way. We don't own this. Do you know, it's cheap, isn't it? Let's grab it. Because we're going to start that moving now, aren't we?
Congratulations, but I would never buy something like that.
Oh, we're going to so buy you out soon. Do we want a direct line down to New Orleans from our wood here? Or do we want to think about that separate freight line this early on? It's tempting, isn't it? We'd have to go in the other... Yeah, we'd have to go in the other side, wouldn't we? We'd have to go down here. Well, it might be doable. I'll tell you what. Should we do it now? Because the train's only just set off. And then we can have express lines and dedicated freight. The dedicated freight might not be that busy. It shouldn't cost as much, should it? Let's get you deleted back to there. And then instead, you're heading in that way. And then what I think I'll do is... Do we want to extend... I don't think we need to extend that at all. We can have our freight line separate with a 2-track gridiron. And keep our freight away from the other one. I know we've got our freight connected up there, but I don't think it's required just there, and we don't interfere with the other side then either. Yeah, I kind of like that. There we go. We'll get you set up correctly, please. There we go. We're good. We've lost our signalling on the main line. Oh no, that's the new main line because we now have a 4-track gridiron over at New Orleans. So we'll get you there. We do have a block in between, so that should be good enough as well. There we go. Lots of changes. We do not have a maintenance yard just there, so we'll sort that out for you. Did I put one in at Shreveport? We did them to the rural businesses, yeah, and we did Shreveport last time out. Beautiful. Love it. Right, and we've got them down here. It's when we couldn't afford it, isn't it? We can afford it all sorts now. That's a lot of changes and improvements. We have one out at Cooper Terminal. These are new stations that we added them to. And now we can check on the growth of Austin. How you doing, Austin? You are growing. Beautiful. We are making 436,000 a week. I'm not sure if it counts any of the building work we do. Shreveport is... Oh, I don't know what I clicked on there. Shreveport is growing. We could maybe get them corn. A bit tricky. We could bring that grain in, that's for sure. Although they will be getting it from down in Beaumont, possibly. We might need to... Ooh, Houston has grown. And we can build something else there. What are we going to build there? I'm I'm not sure. Well, they get steel from Austin. We could boost production of steel in Austin to silly amounts and get a bit more running, especially if we buy this line out and have a little more direct line up to Dallas and avoid this situation a little bit. So we lighten the load then at their main station. I sort of like it because we have canning factories here, don't we? They've got the veggies right near them, and they're getting steel anyway. And even if we're only producing a little bit, this is like far down the line, but if we do need to get cities growing, we are at least producing those things. Yeah, should we get some beans underway? Yeah, that's what it looks like, isn't it? So we've got our bean factory down there. Heinz, maybe? Not sponsored. In fact, they look like pumpkins. Don't they? Yeah. Well, it's the right time of year for it, isn't it? Halloween and stuff. And Thanksgiving, of course, in the US. So there we go. We've got some beans underway. And we've got our dedicated freight service running between Austin. It's just going to be a case of now, do we service you with all your goodies at a decent rate? We might struggle with wood looking at it. We've got 6 on the way, but I feel like we could possibly boost that. Maybe even bring it from 2 different areas. Salt mine, it's cheap, isn't it? And I feel like salt is something we could maybe do at Shreveport. Depends where this is.
Offer, if you can make
miles away. Yeah, it's miles away. We'll save that one for later, shall we? In case we've got anywhere else to grow. How much would this cost us? Same price. Let's grab it. I feel like we can bring this into play and drop it off.
What are you going to do with that? I wouldn't waste my money on it.
Well, you wouldn't. I would. As we have a place to stick a warehouse here. And there are a few cities that require salt already. So it wouldn't be a waste, would it? If we get them with salt, it wouldn't be too bad. Do we pass wood over from here? We don't. We could. And we could send wood from 2 places into Houston. That could solve a few problems, couldn't it? Let's get them some wood that way. We own both of these logging facilities, so I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it, to make a little bit of cash there. We've got lots of throughput available now. Our tracks are much wider. Just make sure I haven't broken them. We may need a few more trains running this as well. Yeah, they're absolutely chock-a-block, aren't they? Should we go double up on them? There we go. We'll have 4 running the monstrous route between Jackson and Beaumont. I think that's going to help out. It might require an extra train running this as well. Especially now we have that. And we'll keep them spaced out for this one, I think. So we'll stick you on. See what happens with this one. Will you load up fully? You are. Where are you taking it? Well, you're not. But I'm going to assume you are. Beaumont, 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 Beaumont. You're all going to... Oh, no, there we go. Houston is going to get a few, whatever you call them, of logs, of lumber. We've got research points to spend shortly. We did just purchase the Shea Class C, or unlocked it. We've got this up here that we nabbed, didn't we? Which reduced our wage bill. Which unlocked this technically without us getting that first, which is to reduce the construction cost of all buildings, including factories, railroad buildings, by an additional 5%. I wouldn't mind it. I don't think it's urgent. Tunnels? Oh, we could have some shortcuts somewhere. It would send us to the De Glen, wouldn't it? De Glen? However you want to say that. Another express train. It does 69 miles an hour. Nice. Compared to... Where's our current one? It's the Class 121. Yeah, look at me remember. Only does 63. I believe its tractive effort or tractive power is a whole lot better. Popularity 147 versus 148. So swings and roundabouts there. Might be an idea. Should we do that? Should we get us a new express service? Because there are some serious routes we can set up express trains, couldn't we? As we get towards the end game. Right, New Orleans. Do we want to... Well, yes, let's set up the grain. It's right here, isn't it? It would make sense. We can have a simple little connection there. And if we're going to go... Eventually, we're going to go to northern Florida, aren't we? So we should possibly think about having this double tracked. And then we don't have to worry about adding another line heading to the east. There we go. We'll get you with some gridirons on. And we'll get you with a... Oh, yeah. If we are heading out this way eventually, we perhaps want to sort the gridiron situation out early on, don't we? And we haven't got to refinagle it later. Right, you go like that. And like that. Then we can stick our gridiron in there. And we'll stick our supply tower down this end. Although, no, I tell you what, change of plan. I like the idea of extending this a little further so we can stick it near the junction. We can cross all the tracks then, can't we? Save us a small amount. We'll just stick you up there instead. Beautiful, and then we're done and can connect to... What is that over there?
You make it far too easy for me if you don't invest in guards.
Pensacola. Is that right? I've never heard of that city. If you live there, I've learned a city. It's your city. What are you doing, ma'am? What does she do? She's up to something, isn't she? What's she do? Did she steal stuff from us? Well, let's get rid of the... Oh, look at what you've done. What's going on with this train? Ma'am, can we do it here so it's not moving? Transport revenue for the whole rail line is reduced by 50% until February the 9th, 1876. It is not too bad. I mean, it sucks, but it's not going to affect us the most. At least she didn't break a track, which she can do, can't she? Ooh, yeah, I don't like that at all. Anyway, let's get this set up. Get you with a maintenance building on there, and we'll set up a freight service into New Orleans. They do make beer as well, don't they? Yeah. Freight only. You're going to be the Shea class. I know it's a short distance. We could go with the Mastodon down here for the better reliability, I guess. Do you know what? Let's do it. Wait until 4. Better reliability. You head off. We'll leave the Shea class for the longer services. Isn't that our massive line? Okay, it's kind of terrible. It's possibly a good idea that she did that if you were in her shoes. Which I am definitely not in her shoes. Right, Austin, are you... Oh, look. Austin has done it. They have surpassed 85,000. Are you starting to get, like, corn and stuff now? Grain. Yeah, you're getting grain. You're getting corn. Oh, it's beautiful. We fixed Austin. It's going to be tough to get cloth. I'm not too worried about that. You're getting some apples. You're getting some veggies. Your milk might be a bit of a struggle at the moment. You're getting some dairy products as well. Is there any milk up north? There might be. There is, but that's miles away. We could bring this into play with Shreveport, couldn't we? We've got to set that salt up. If we add milk to the list here... They could pass off some milk that way. In fact, does Beaumont even pass milk along? That'll be a... No, they do. I was going to say that'll be a major omission. Does Houston? They do. We already do it that way. So probably not needed over in Shreveport, but we'll keep it there anyway. Now, we could... Where do we want to make cheese? That's a good idea, isn't it? We're not going to be able to pass it along to Houston. Or we will be able to pass it along to Houston, but not any further. As it stands, we are chock-a-block on the warehouse there. Oh, I like it. It's fine. It's fine. We'll sort that out. Shall we? Oh, we got a connection bonus. Just there where we're thinking of doing stuff. I'll tell you what, we'll buy that and we'll get rid of the line because it's a bit squiggly and not really set up how I'd like it. And we'll redo this. Could we buy this? How much would it cost us? Oh, that's pricey, isn't it? Why are you so expensive? That's rough. Let's get those contours up. Do we want a separate station for grain? We could bring in grain, salt and milk separately to the rest of our lines and pass it over with a warehouse. Not a bad idea. We could also have that station as the one that heads to Jackson. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I like the idea of doing it for at least this anyway. Well, if we do think about doing it that way, let's stick you like that. We could bring this in at that point, couldn't we? That's nice and flowing. I love it. And then we'll bring in the salt to join in underneath, I think. Did I put that in the wrong? Yeah, that's awful. Redo that. Thankfully, we get full-on refunds, don't we? We need you to go in that way. And, oh yes, you've got double things here. There we go. That's the one, isn't it? Marvellous. And you... Did I put the station in? You're up that end. I didn't. Let's put it in and then we can do that trick where it's easy to connect them. If you go in there, can we just branch in, I think? It's not going to be that busy, is it? There we go. You just branch in there, providing it doesn't make a mess of it, which it could do. We'll leave you double tracked. We're at the point in the game where it's easier to do that. Less hassle. We don't really need to worry about spending the extra on extra platforms. Get you set up and get prepared for a another line branching out perhaps. I don't know where else that track could go. We could have one on the other side, couldn't we? As well. Heading into Dallas direct. I need to get rid of him. Get rid of him. Ooh, that sounded evil. And by get rid of him, I mean buy him out. Nicely. Without weapons or anything. Anyway, right, yes, let's get you prepared. We could branch out a little straighter to go down for the milk or whatever, or the milk can going. Probably join this wood line, couldn't it? Quite nicely when we get to that. Right, get you like that. It would send milk shorter up to Dallas, wouldn't it? I've already got one there. I have. Look at me go. What we don't have though are supply towers, and they are definitely required more than they were before. Right, and we'll get you hooked up with some grain. Freight only, Shay class, short distance. Let's go Mastodon. Mix it up. And wait until 4. Absolutely. Confirm you. Lots of building today. What else are we going to need? That is really expensive. So no, you can have that, ma'am. Let's stick on a... Yeah, we need all these maintenance depots, won't we? Maintenance depot. Shreveport is absolutely going through the roof now. I love it. And will you take salt now? We might need to set up a... Yeah, we'll go with the Shay class on that one. And wait until 4. We may need to set up something different here. Because we're going to need a warehouse. They won't need it themselves, will they? And we're going to have to pass that salt to the other warehouse. Well, that's fine. There we go. That should trigger demand. There we go. We have Beaumont is accepting salt. They might all be for Beaumont. Absolutely is. So don't bulldoze it. We're going to have to upgrade you, aren't we? We're not going to keep up as it is. Yeah, this should be good enough. Bonus connection monies that we got for the grain into Shreveport. Beautiful. 2 stars. We said we're going to go for this, didn't we? Reduce the cost of tunnels. I sort of like... No, yes, no. We have to go with that. Yes, no, yes, no. 3 stars because we need to unlock our De Glen, or however you pronounce that. I'm sure you guys will help me out. The 701 De Glen, or whatever it's called. Anyway, how much is this? Should we get this while it's cheap? Oh, I just thought we could have bought her out. Leave the rest. We need this down here, though. North Florida. We'll get that. Maybe we can set up Pensacola. That's what I'm going to run with, naming-wise. Or pronunciation-wise. Do we want to boost these? Or should we limit them to 100,000? Yeah, I'll tell you what. We'll get them a university. It's a real shame this doesn't boost innovation points like in the original, in the first version of the game. Because that was kind of nice, weren't it? Late game where you could boost innovation points. So how are we doing? Austin, how are you doing? You got plenty of steel. We might need to boost production of our tools. Have you actually delivered any yet? We haven't, but we have just made an awful lot of changes and we've been paused for a good deal of it. And I feel like this is just going to be a production issue, isn't it? Not canned goods. We make 0.8. What is the demand? Well, we're not going to make enough. Not even close. How much wood do you have? We've sorted out our wood situation. We've got 6 on the train. Are we getting plenty of steel? We're getting absolutely tons of steel. This has to be a case of us pushing this at least bump it another 2. Now we're making 3.2, so we've got 2.2 spare. Austin is going to require it. Ooh, what are Austin going to make? They should make planks, shouldn't they? Yes. You make planks because we've got our furniture that side. We've got planks coming in from 2 different places then. You can't replace that building up there. No. It's not how that works. Oh, I don't know where to stick this. Stick it up in that corner there. We've got this awkward section just here that we can't build on. And yeah, how much is this? That is 400,000. I'll tell you what, we'll buy it. It's not a bad line as is it? No, we'll just connect it up. We'll think about doing something with that, I believe, in the next episode. For now, it's good enough and we can connect. Yeah, we can run out the other side, can't we? Can we build any further down there? How many tracks can we get in? Oh, all of them. It's beautiful. There we go. If we need a little bit more throughput between these cities, we've got it ready. I'm going to stick one of these on just so I don't forget at both stations. There might be freight or freight orientated, or it might be a bit of a shortcut past the back of our logging here. So we lighten up this section. In fact, I'll tell you what, before we go, let's finagle this so it's a little different. And we'll go into that station instead. We may need to set up a few other things down here. If we leave a station open, might be alright. We can also head down to almost direct, couldn't we, from Dallas to San Antonio this way. Yeah, that's not a bad plan. Let's... Oh, no, you don't want to send another one down. Let's do this. And then we've got the cows that can come down. Get you set up. And what we'll do is we'll shift those other services we have, the mixed services, that are running down here and into the main station over to that one, which is what we had planned right at the beginning. Where's our cow? Cows are up there. So if we run this a little further, we can stick in our lovely supply tower that, again, is very much needed these days. Otherwise, your trains are going to really slow down. We could have one that end as well. Do we have a 4-track gridiron? We do. One more supply tower over there. And we'll get the... Well, yeah, we don't need to do anything other than shift them over, do we? Let's shift you over. You are now going to be going into Dallas to, not Dallas to, Austin to, and we're good to go. That should be that. They'll probably reset eventually, but we've just taken some of the pressure off Austin's main station or original station, and we have a direct line that bypasses everything up to Dallas. I'll probably do something with Shreveport. Are we good today? I sort of like it, New Orleans, and I would like to get this area growing all down here. Maybe we'll try and do a little bit of that later. What do you have on here? You don't have a warehouse. You might want a warehouse, to be fair. We could send the wood down. They have, they currently have mixed services, don't they? And only one, which is already busy. This is ideal. We'll change that to an express, and we'll stick not the Shea Class C. That's not what we need. We'll stick that on, and we'll double it up as well. And then the other line will have the freight only service. And that will make more sense a little bit later. So after Jackson go that way, then you'll come that way. This will be freight only. We'll just run one, and we'll run the Shea Class C. You might not take much to start with, but you're definitely not taking enough passengers, are you? And mail. Yeah, nothing to do at the moment. But hopefully that will change. Should we do it? Should we stick wood here? I sort of like the idea. It will give them something extra to take. And a little less traffic on the roads. Because you're sitting around doing nothing. Are you? No, beautiful. Love it. We're done. Good place to end it, guys. If we are starting to deliver, we're not. Hopefully. There we go. There we go. It's beautiful. Shall we ride on board our tool train? I'm going to pause it there and save it. Alright guys, that was an episode. I went full on, didn't I? We upgraded a lot of buildings. We changed a lot of layouts. We've got much wider main lines now. Especially heading all the way over to Jackson. That made me happy today. Because we've brought in a lot. There goes our express. I got distracted. It's nice to see the express overtake us. It's an interesting layout, this one. I think we're getting to the stage as well where we can have a nice bridge coming across for the express direct, and we might need to increase the capacity of that and take a look at some of the finances of our express trains and see if we can't tweak them a little bit. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. We're about to drop off our first load of tools to Austin, so that is finally underway. We'll keep an eye on it in the next episode, and until then, take care.